and welcome to the Economy This Week series of Drishti IAS. I am Ritu and today's session is about important economic events which had happened in the past week, and this session is important for your GS 3 perspective. Moving towards the points of discussion part. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the Manmohanomics, and then we are going to discuss about the circular economy, then we are going to discuss about India's forest reserve. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. So coming to the discussion part, the discussion is what is Manmohanomics. So as you already know that the former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, has left the world, and it's very important to discuss his legacy, that what legacy he left behind for us. So apart from his politics, Manmohan Singh is also discussed for his economic policies, his economic vision, and he has envisioned India into a broader economic spectrum, and that's why we can see that India's economy is liberalized, globalized and privatized. It's all because of the Manmohan Singh, because he has made new economic policy and that has emphasized on LPG, liberalized, privatized and globalized. So here we'll discuss that what is Manmohanomics. So Manmohanomics is a term given by the media to the vision of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and it is a transformative economic policies which focuses on the liberalized form of economic policies. So here the key measures are the ending the license Raj, promoting entrepreneurship, attracting foreign direct investments and foreign institutional investors, and integrating India with the global economy. And due to his policy, we can see the positive impact that Indian economy became global. Many people got jobs and many people lifted out from the poverty. So this is the positive side of Manmohanomics. Now we'll come and discuss few features about the Manmohanomics. So liberalization. So in liberalization, he has abolished the license Raj, delicensed most industries, and in privatization, there was reduction in the dominance of public sector in key industries, allowed private sector participation in core industries, and globalized, opened the Indian economy for foreign investments and allowing up to the 51%. So from 40% it allowed to the 51%, and encouraged foreign institutional investors to invest in India. So these are the measures he had taken under the liberalization, privatization and globalization, and we can see that how India was connected after the LPG policies. So here we can see the trade reforms. So the rupee was devalued by 18%, and why it was devalued? To make exports more competitive in nature and remove restriction on imports and ease the import of capital goods. And we can also see the changes in banking and financial sector reform. Banks were given more freedom and banks were allowed to decide deposit rates and maturities, and new monetary policies were introduced which was very tightened in nature. There was also talk on fiscal discipline, and fiscal deficit was targeted between 3 to 5%, and major tax reforms to increase the government revenue. So we can see the introduction of various bills in the what you can say under the ambit of LPGs. So what economic impact it had? So economic impact, that there was more economic stability in the Indian economy and prevented the country from defaulting in its economic crisis kind of situation, initiated sustained GDP growth. So one time we can see that there was a high amount of GDP growth, but that is not healthy for the economy, because we need sustained economic growth. It means that by steady we can achieve to a target, and that would be very good for economy, because there will be no sudden shock, and integrated India into the global economy, because we had opened our doors to the other investors and other the foreign companies started investing in India. We connected to the other economies and our economy was enlarged by these kind of the policies. Now we'll come to the next topic, which is about the circular economy. So what is circular economy? So circular economy emphasizes that we need to increase our economic growth, we need to focus on the economic growth, and we need to make our economy which should advocate the eco-friendly and environment friendly, what you can say, economy. So circular economy is an economic model aimed at eliminating waste and promoting the continuous use of resources, and it contrasts with the linear form of economy which both take, make and dispose. So what we have seen that many countries, and in fact in some parts and in some areas, we still follow this take, make and dispose. We take one product and we make it, and whatever the waste we have, we dispose it. But after the waste, there is a waste in the environment, there is a wastage of money, so we cannot recycle and reuse it. So circular economy focuses onto that. And what are the key principles of the circular economy? Design out of waste and pollution, keep products and material in use, and regenerate natural system. So in this, there was a much focus on the renewable energy, materials to restore and enhance ecosystem, reusing, repairing and refurbishing and recycling. So these four are very important for what you can say, circular economy. Product and process are designed to minimize waste and environmental damage. So why we are discussing this particular topic? We are discussing this particular topic because G20 Sherpa Amitabh Kant has said that over $2 trillion and create 10 million jobs by 2050. And how it will be created? With what you can say, a circular economy. So the market value, what you can say, that it can generate market value of over $2 trillion and create 10 million jobs by 2050 with the help of circular economy, if we follow the principle of the circular economy. And here we need to capitalize on the global circular economy market. So we have to make few policies that first of all we have to implement in our country, and we have to capitalize, we have to marketize, we have to advertise, and so that other countries could also come and they can also follow the model, and India can become a role model for the developing economies, that how we are using circular economy to expand our economy and to reuse, recycle. And we are also giving the message of environment friendly and eco-friendly economy. Now we'll come to the next part, which is the India's Forex Reserve. So first of all, we need to discuss that what is Forex Reserve. So Forex Reserve, foreign exchange reserve, are assets held by a country's central bank or monetary or any monetary authority in foreign currencies. So these reserves are used to back the national currency and manage exchange, and also it addresses the balance of payment needs. And forex reserves play a critical role in stabilizing country's economy. Also, it cushions against any economic shock. So our central bank is RBI. So forex reserve is held by the RBI, and it helps us to prevent us from any economic shock. So this is about the what you can say, India's Forex Reserve. And why we are discussing this topic? So we are discussing this topic because recently we got a news that India's foreign exchange reserve dipped by $8.4 billion to $644.39 billion as of December 20. So this data has been given by the Reserve Bank of India. And if we discuss about the India's forex security, so India is into the top 4 country in terms of the forex reserve. So we have China, Japan and Switzerland. After that India is there, and so we are doing very well into this direction, and India has moved from Fragile 5 to the what you can say fastest growing major economy, and India is a part of top 4 economy which has a what you can say forex reserve. Now it comes to the question that what is the disadvantage in decline of the forex reserve. So if there will be the decline in forex reserve, there will be devaluation of the rupee, and if there will be devaluation of rupee, inflation will be there into the economy. The investors, especially the foreign investors, will have less interest in investing in your economy because your economy is not booming. So these are the loopholes, and these are the what you can say negative impact of the decline in forex reserve. So this is a very minimal thing, and if it will be prolonged, then it will have a huge impact on Indian economy. Till now, we have not suffered any major shock because of the forex reserve. So this is the thing. Now we'll discuss the question part. The question is, why are forex reserves important during economic crisis? They help pay domestic salaries, they fund government welfare schemes, they act as a buffer to manage external shocks and balance of payments, they are used to print more currency notes. So we had just discussed this thing. You can answer into the comment section. Then we can also discuss under Manmohanomics, the license Raj was strengthened to regulate monopolies and abolished to promote entrepreneurship and private sector growth, replaced by agriculture subsidies extended to service sector. So you can also answer into the comment section. Then we have last question. What is the primary goal of circular economy? To maximize resource extraction, to eliminate waste and continuously use resources, to encourage linear production models, and to increase the use of fossil fuels. So this you can answer into the comment section. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to the session, kindly ask into the comment section. Thank you. Have a nice day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.